Y'all can't even rip me before I'm back. That's how like good my bounce back is. That's how smooth I do this. Yo. Yo. Ah. Back up in this mofo. I don't need more info. Thanks anyway. And let's go. That I would call that the like 1 in 20. So there is an Xbox thing. There is. Matchmaking couldn't be perfect. That would spoil us. That would be too much. About 1 in 20 games, it seems that the stream, like the client, the whole client crashes. So maybe that's their big fix to matchmaking, is instead of locking you in the waiting wheel of death, we remove the waiting wheel and we just crash the whole client. But at least it happens a lot less frequently than the locked up waiting wheel happens. So we'll still have some stream reboots from time to time, because nothing can be perfect. It is way. I'll even go as far as to say it's way better. 91. The double Bomat draws continue. And they're not actually good. Okay, we're on the draw, so I think we can keep this hand. Matchmaking on Steam is worse. Oh no. I am sorry. I mean, actually, I should be much more sympathetic, as you have been very sympathetic to my plight over the last season, Nighthawk, so I should be more sympathetic, and I should say, that is too bad. That is minutes, that adds up to multiple minutes off your life over time. It really does. Well, there's a new card, and it's a good one, and it's a reason that Shock isn't as good as we all wish it were. And this card is a 1/3 First Strike Menace that makes a 2/1 Monkey. Alright, and we have a terrible draw. We have no plays for turns 1 and 2, so we are just too slow. Too slow. But hopefully we can take over the game with these Harvesters, who should be very good if our opponent is playing red cards. Do we let that resolve before we kill his guy? I'm going to shock it first in case he hits a mountain, plays it, and then has a Titan Strength to stop my shock. But I definitely want to spend this turn killing something, and that is a great target. And okay, he did have a mountain and another play with a Bomat, so our opponent is on a they're on fire. Also, they could have expedited their creature, which would have made my shock a lot better. Oh well, that's life. Red did get some improvements. I think that Harvester is going to be a real pain in its butt, though, as I think we'll see starting next turn. I think it's going to be a sad harvesting. Do I want to save this Thopter? Yeah, I might block a Bomat Courier, so we'll see what happens here. I really can't afford to lose my Engineer. Oh god. No, there's that. Our opponent's got the curve. We're gonna have to make sure we keep a creature out of this attack and get a Harvester down. Oh, you're attacking with everything. You're not attacking with everything. You're attacking with some things. Okay. It is what it is. So, if we can recover from this start, we're doing great. I don't know that we can, but we will try. Our opponent did just use probably one of their bigger spells in Devils. Oh, I really didn't want to lose it, because I did want to be able to use it with the Harvester, but it is what it is. But let's get Harvester out there and start putting the lifelinks to him. We have a vehicle heavy draw. We're going to need some more creature creators. Yep, you've got a shock. What you gonna do? I'll gain more life on this attack than I'll lose. Okay. He's going this route. If I block Bomat and I pay the energy, then he can sack it, but I think I'm going to do that anyway. And he's going to sack it, so I'm not going to gain the life right here. Alright, well, he basically had the perfect 2 cards to discard. I'm kind of jelly. We'll see if that was wrong and I should just let him keep his Bomat, but I feel like it continuing to accrue cards would be very bad for me. Okay, good, we drew a land. If we hadn't, we'd have had to tap our Harvester to play this card, but now we do not. That was a really bad move in my honest opinion. Well, thank you. You might not be wrong, especially considering what he discarded. I was hoping he wouldn't want to discard his hand, but there you go. So do I attack and get the lifelink? And nah, we'll hold back. Our opponent could have double burn, like Firecraft and what? Nothing. No, our opponent can't kill us from here. So we can start getting in with Harvester next turn when we play our other one. Call the full moon. Sure. Okay. Crew 1. We can double spell next turn, so I think I can take the 4, gain the life, and then we can take out the full moon. The other option is to block there. He can't kill it, or we could just triple block. I do smell a pump spell though. This is pretty tough. Game 3, go to 10, plus 4, I don't die. Okay. Yeah. This could be wrong. Think it through. We'll go like this. Pause, please. Lifelink, please. Alright. You know, that was a window right there. Because of the first strike, he could have shocked me before my lifelink resolved. Or he could have double shocked or bolted me. That's something to keep in mind in the future. There isn't, like, he would have had to have exactly double shock, so I still don't think it would have changed my play. Oh, okay, and he's got Firecraft. Ah, and he's Firecrafting that. Wow, good draw from our opponent. Pretty much as good as it could get. Let's see if we can recover. We need to leave our blue up. And we're going to show him the other Harvester, which is probably going to cause him to groan. And he needs to find a way to do 6 damage. I'm just going to leave everything back. There's probably some free attacks in there. I'm just being probably excessively cautious. Firebird, great. Alright, so I think the play is Harvester the Firebird, and Elder Deep Fiend can block the monkey. Elder Deep Fiend can block, no, Elder Deep Fiend can block the pirate along with a token, and then the other token can block the monkey. Oh no. Oh, we'll see if he still wants to attack now. That might be fine. We'll bluff him. That might be fine. It might just talk him into not attacking, which is perfectly... It's just great. The longer we get to sit on Deep Fiend, the better. It shuts down future haste creatures. And this just gives me free life. So yeah, he decides not to attack. I actually think that bluff was a better play than actually getting the Deep Fiend on the table. Alright. The fact that you just have like built-in life gain now to decks like this, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty ridiculous, really. Is it a bluff? No, it's not a bluff. It's what would we call that? A pump fake, perhaps? Can we call that a pump fake? Is the world fine with that? That we pump faked the card? Yeah, Harvester is crew 1, which is pretty... It's sending a flex. It's a flex. I like that. Okay. Yeah, when you show them the card and then don't use it, but it is a really powerful card, and it dissuades them from doing something, I guess we'll call that a flex. I like it. Thought about 1 or 2 Harness Lightnings removal for the 4 shocks. You could do that. If you want to make that play, I will not be mad at you. I will not stop you. I will not tell you you're wrong. I will say... Oh, he's had enough. Okay. I will say that I want damage to go to the face in the matchups where your Thopter deck has to be the aggressor. Now, you can get more lifelink triggers for your Harvester, and you can get more different color mana for your Aether Hub, but I think that all plays a game that isn't as aggressive, and if I am in a situation with this deck, like, the thing with Thopters is I feel very confident against other aggressive decks that if I can buy time, I can get a lot of value out of my tokens and things of that nature, and I can kind of clog up the board and win. Whereas against decks that are control, I'm very worried that I can get enough damage through to finish the game. So that is that's where I'm gonna go with that, and that's why I like Shock and not the Harness Lightning. But I wouldn't be mad at you. You are certainly welcome to try it. So I don't know about you guys. I thought that we had a really... that was a really scary game. Our opponent's draw was really legit. And yeah, the Harvesters are the reason we won. There's almost no question about that. So, I think we like us some Harvesters. Anybody? And this is not like a... Thopters isn't really a mid-rangey deck, but man, did it really came in handy, you know what I mean? I think Harvesters go in aggressive decks too. It's just... they take over the aggressive matchups. Maybe that red deck is supposed to play Harvesters. I don't know. Some evasion with a crew 1 is pretty amazing. No red mana is bad. Okay. No. I mean, as tempting as that is, and then we get a slow hand. So we had 2 hands with our 1-drops, but not enough land to make them playable, and then we get a hand with no 1-drops. By the way, I think we have 11 1-drops and like 5 2-drops, or it's something crazy. We want to cast early Thopterists. It just... it's a little hard. The hands just so rarely seem to line up perfectly. And our opponent is right back to good old Sunblade Elf. If they have Plains Grasp of the Hieromancer, I might tilt, as that was a play that killed me yesterday. Never mind. No need to tilt. We drew the card. I hope they end up banning vehicles in Standard. That would be funny. They banned Smuggler's Copter. They'll never ban like a whole mechanic again. Like they just wrote banding out of the world. Banding, yeah. Hold on. There you go. Check out banding. Have fun with that. That is a mechanic that was in the very, very, very beginning of Magic, and they just have basically removed it. They don't even try to errata it anymore. Elves will never really die. We'll have to play some elves. I'm sure that deck, like I've put together my new kind of revolt-ish elf deck, and it's It's probably not terrible. I don't know if it'll be great, but certainly terrible isn't the right word. Our opponent's playing the value game now with Jotty Offshoot. One card you overrated, one card you underrated. Oh, it's a question. Card I overrated. Let me think. One card that I overrated. I'm trying to think of like a card that I see now and I'm like, God, I would never play that card that at the time I was excited about. So something really obvious is I sort of half defended Ulrich of the Crowlin Horde, the legendary werewolf, as having some play, but I don't think I was ever on any kind of hype train associated with it, so I don't think that counts. Or I hope it doesn't. If it did, probably a scar on my record. Overrated. Maybe... Oh, you mentioned Aether Revolt. Well, I haven't gotten to play with all the cards I want to, but if we're just talking Aether Revolt, I haven't made the Bastion Inventor work yet, and that's probably going to go down history as one of my larger overrates ever, because I was pretty excited about that deck, and so far it's been a hot mess of junk. Also, a servo schematic I included in a lot of my lists to get the 2 artifacts for 2 mana, but the card is basically a concession. Like, you play it and you're like, yeah, that's what I got, and the opponent's like, ah, you paid 2 mana for a 1/1 that's going to do nothing else ever. So I think servo schematic goes on my list. Underrated from Aether Revolt. Underrated. It's a good question. I hate to say Aether Sphere Harvester because I was absolutely stoked by it, but maybe I didn't even know how good it is, and so far it's been so good. Maverick Thopterist, I don't think I underrated or overrated it. I was pretty like, yeah, that could be cool. It does good things. Oh, I have probably overrated Reverse Engineer, as it seems to require pretty much a whole turn off to do cool things. Our opponent's going off over here. They're going absolutely nuts this turn. Overrated Greenbelt Rampager. Well, I haven't tried to play with it yet, so I can't speak about it. The Black-Green Snake is overrated. I'm curious to find out about that, Nighthawk, because really, to be, like, I don't know if it's overrated, but I definitely think that people are making too many deck building concessions trying to make it work. If you're playing with bad cards to make that card work, you're probably doing it wrong. You probably need to play it around good cards that use tokens as well. That's, anyway, my hot take. And, well, I guess I can't kill Lily this turn, but I can diminish her ability to be useful. And hold up Deep Fiend is probably right, as a big Deep Fiend turn will flip this game right around. Our opponent had a really great turn, but we've got the air power. So we'll just keep her in check, and Deep Fiend might just wreck his day. Hopefully we draw a card we don't mind discarding, although right now that might be Pia because we don't have the red. We will discard this card. That will be fine. So, also, I am down, like, I'm kind of on Bounce's level with, you just can't run many tap lands anymore. So lands that come into play tapped, that seems to be a big change so far in the format. You just really can't afford it. It's too bad. It goes bad. So overrated, Narum Renegade. Haven't made that card do cool things yet, so I wouldn't argue with you. Tezzeret underrated, I would agree with that. Baral Chief of Compliance, underrated. Yeah, that card is awesome. That card is legit. It's a legit boss, so to speak. Away with the Scrounger. We'll get it back if we draw an Aether Hub. Our opponent's down to this. I guess we'll see if he wants to attack. because then we can tap down all his blockers if he attacks with even one thing. And yeah, I didn't think he powered up that Hissing Quagmire for his health. Alright, emerge right there. Tap your Planeswalker. That doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah, let's hate that it does that. Alright. I would say Vehicles deck didn't get much better. Well, I haven't played what I would call kind of the traditional vehicles with the right upgrades. And when I do, I think I'm going to smash a lot of things. So I'm going to try that out. I called my Is It Burnless Barals to the Wall. That's awesome. That's A+ deck naming. I really didn't think he'd carry games as much as he does. He sure does. Like, you play him on turn 2. It's really hard to remove him, especially now that people are all up on their shocks. And then he sits out there as a 1/3, doing some blocking here and there if needed, getting a chip shot in there if needed, but letting you do things like play Telling Time for 1 mana, Read the Bones for 2 mana, Declaration in Stone for 1 mana, Anguish Unmaking for 2 mana. It adds up quick, and it lets you get away with playing your tap lands. It's great. And of course, if you're doing what I do, it's all about the expertise, of course. All right. So, thought about how I'm going to attack my opponent here. I'm going to make sure I get plenty of artifacts to the face. Deep Fiend is going to crush the Liliana, and I'm not very worried about counterattack. I'm just going to bring it all. You'd have to top deck like Gaia's Revenge to make me feel like I'm under any pressure. Cathartic Reunion, discarding 2 Fiery Tempers for 3 mana, I think is what you mean. 3 mana. Shock seems ill-advised right now. Yeah, there are a lot of cards with 3 toughness, but you also really, really, really want to burn the face and the Planeswalkers. So, is Shock ill-advised, or is it just more situational than we're used to it being? We're used to it being 1 mana, kill a 2-drop, which is always a great tempo play. But I think it's now it's got targets that are good, and it's got fail states. So it probably doesn't feel nearly as great as it used to. That's for sure. Opponent's gonna Bone Splinters a Deep Fiend, so our opponent top decked Elvish Visionary into Bone Splinters. May we all do that when we need to. But we're still cranking out the Thopters, and this seems... Yeah, Shock and Tempest is not the same as Shock and Aether Revolt. I think that's a great way to say it. I think that's a great way to put it. Alright, get out there. Our opponent doesn't have any good blocks. We'll turn all this sideways and read some comments. It sucked doing it, but I was on the draw versus a white weenie deck, and I turned 3'd a solid board state away using Yanni's expertise, playing off the second brawl off it. Well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, because they're probably not expecting you to play it on turn 3. That's your Esper, you know. They don't expect to see that kind of board wipe for another turn, so they invest in the board, believing that they know what's up. Speaking of investing the board, believing that we know what's up, I'm kind of in board wipe territory, but if I put out this Copter instead of a Chief or a Thopter Engineer, then I'll still get triggers on upkeep if my opponent draws a Languish or Expertise. And then I think we still have lethal with the Engineer Chief. In fact, I'm sure we do, even if he does draw perfect. So down goes... I guess that's like an old school black-green control, not really an elf tribal. Pro tip from above beyond: don't cast Radiant Flames off an Expertise. That's a great pro tip. You paid no mana to cast it, therefore with no colors of mana paid, it does 0 damage. So that is a pro tip and a half right there. Alright, Thopter's still rolling. Turns out Smuggler's Copters and decks that play them efficiently are still pretty darn good. That's, of course, obvious. So if you're going to control, you have to have a removal suite that cares about Smuggler Copter getting destroyed. There are more ways to do it. Fatal Push, of course, is a big one. Blessed Alliance is still a pretty important card. The life gain is a big deal. But Reclamation Sage and the occasional Fragmentize are also not terrible. All creatures get -3/-3, and you discard a card. Doesn't sound as good. Nope. Opponents on the play. We're going to have some options. If we draw a land, this hand is good, so I'll keep it. Opponent goes to 6. They've got their Liliana sleeves on and their first turn planes. I find that kind of strange. So, I guess they're... well, that determines it. I was debating about Bomat or not, but if we play Inventor's Apprentice turn 1, we can go Bomat Apprentice on turn 2 and get one of those starts. Yeah, the matchmaking isn't quite... you know, that part isn't fixed, but above, you gotta be... if what they meant was that they're going to remove all the like crashes and freeze-ups we had, then we have to be grateful for that, I suppose. I mean, you don't have to be, but I'm going to practice being grateful. It makes me feel like a better person. There's also, yeah, like they said, I think it's going to be rare to find folks like myself who are already at rank 40. You have to be pretty darn dedicated. Controversial one now. Harvester over Heart of Kirin. Yeah, I would, I'd give the nod to the Harvester. And in that way, perhaps Heart of Kirin is an overrated card, right? Maybe it is. What do you guys think? Heart of Kirin, overrated? Get in on this. Get in on this. What do you think? If you're watching this later or on YouTube, put it in the comments. Woo! Win! That was easy. I don't even know what deck that was. I can't even make notes. Crew 3 is a lot. I find that when I'm using several Crew 3s, like Cultivator Caravan, that you do have to build around it. You don't want to play like Selfless Spirits, cards like that you normally would. You'd rather play more things that can crew when you need it to. Okay. The other thing about Harvester and Thopter is they can crew a Heart of Kirin. You can tap your 1 mana dork, crew the Smuggler's Thopter or Aether Sphere Harvester, and then crew the Heart of Kirin. But that's not really the way you want to do it. It's still really nutty, and I think Hawk is right, but it is harder. It makes you work a lot harder. It makes you work plenty hard. In fact, I think I've only attacked with my Heart of Kirin like 2 or 3 times, and I don't think we've even drawn it in these games. So, still have to put it to the test. And when you have an active Smuggler's Thopter and not a lot of things to crew it, like, you probably just want to discard your Heart of Kirin to your Smuggler's Thopter, which isn't a very, it's not a big, testament to its power. How about this card? From actual play, not from opinions, from actual play. Is this overrated or is it underrated? This one's a pretty controversial one. Our opponent keeps a no-lander. Well, that's what you get when you get rank 1'd. you get the no-lander. I kind of feel like I should play this for 0, just to give him hope. You overrate it. Oh, getting personal. Alright, well, it is what it is. I certainly want to play with it, and I certainly try to find any excuse I can to get it into a deck. Because I do want to see if it's good. Combat damage, okay. And our opponent has conceded. Alrighty. X-Leaf game. But Ballista has been fantastic for me, capital F, but it hasn't done better or worse than I thought it would. While others, Bounce says Ballista hasn't remotely been a threat whenever I see it, so played against you. So great, Nighthawk says so great in Kratz. Triggered an Origins Lily flip by casting it for 0. It was awesome. You can also trigger your Archangel Avacyn flip. Yeah. Why aren't my games this quick? It's probably because I don't need the gold. Anybody who needs the gold will never have a quick game like that. You don't want Heart of Kirin in Thopters. In Pilots works great though, even without walkers on the board. Well, we'll see. Still haven't drawn it. I feel like getting 3 things to pile into a Heart of Kirin and fly over the top. Like my Whirler Rogue maybe and a Bomat Courier. Sounds like a good idea, but you don't agree. You might turn out to be right. I have to actually draw the darn card. All the Revolt triggers are flipped with a 0 mana ballista. Yeah, there's a lot of little synergies with the card. I think that's part of what's exciting about it. One thing I do like about it is that any deck has like a way without summoning sickness to immediately put a Planeswalker off ultimate. I mean, that feeling of there's nothing I could draw to keep that Planeswalker from ultimating when you're playing a fair creature deck is a very sad feeling. I'm telling you, and you can totally overcome it with the ballista. I want to say ballista, but I want to say Batista every time, so I'm just going to call it ballista. Plenty of 3-power creatures and red-white vroom vroom to crew it. I think so too. This poor rank 3. Well, you never know. He could have been a rank 40 last season on his way up. Bounce is negative on all the things we just mentioned, saying it reads discard a card and something relevant happens. Well, there are a lot of cards in Magic that say discard a card and something relevant happens, and they turn out to be pretty good cards. I mean, imagine if Archangel Avacyn just said discard a card to trigger it for the flip. It'd be even more broke than it arguably is. Imagine if all the Revolt cards just said discard a card and you could trigger them. That would make them twice as effective. So options are great. We gotta love options. We need one more artifact for our Thopterist to do the thing. Our opponent looks like they're gonna play the blue-green energy deck. How about the cards that discard for mana, like Simian Spirit Guide? I think there's an Elvish Spirit Guide. I played that card back in the day. Oh, we're not going to attack now with our little Bomat. He has run into a brick wall. I'm going to... Oops. And we win again. Oh my goodness. I guess he doesn't like how long I'm taking. Or he's listening to me. I had the party on, but I've been kicked out of my own parties a lot lately by Xbox, and I forget to mute. Maybe you guys can help remind me to mute my opponents when I go in, because maybe they're hearing me talking and not enjoying it. I know it would be a little tilting for me if I was trying to play a game of Magic and my opponent kept talking to somebody else. Be a little tilting. Abzan's Sigil of the Empty Throne equal love. Well, somebody found an Origins card that they like. So, I guess Bohemian, then the question is, what makes it better now, or is this a new love that has been in front of you the whole time? Can't you have it muted by default? I can have my Connect mic muted by default. If I can have Duel's opponents muted by default, please tell me how. Yeah, we gotta keep that. You'd think it's a thing they'd implement day one. You said implement, and I started thinking of the implement cards, and I just got all off track in my head trying to figure out what you were talking about. But it's obvious, Gaz, that you were just talking about the muting. What would you guys say is the most improved card because of Aether Revolt? Well, if you want to play Revolt cards, I would hand it to Evolving Wilds. But I think that card has gotten worse, actually, in several other places, so I don't think we can call it Evolving Wilds for reals, just in Revolt. Obviously, there are a lot of cards in either Revolt that make specific cards better. Gear Hulk and a Winding Constrictor is like 10x what it used to be. Can you do it in sound settings, perhaps? Well, I don't know if you're telling me what you know, or if you're telling me what you hope is there. Let's see. Nope, can't do it. Unbridled Growth, I think, is junk. Is it possible to have a 5-color deck? It sure is. Wizards doesn't recommend it. If you've clicked on your, if you've clicked on the deck builder. All right, you're gonna attack with that Lone Rider? No, he's not. Opponent's holding it back. Scared of that Bomat. Bomat. All right, I'll go over the top. I guess it's, yeah, you're saying it's OP because of the glitch. I don't know. That's debatable about whether or not you take glitches into account when talking about cards like that. Mix it with From Beyond, Call for Unity. Okay, we're talking about Sigil of the Empty Throne. Mix it with From Beyond. That's not new. Call for Unity, that's another 5-mana enchantment. Whew! Conviction, okay. New white-black enchantment, Stockpile. Why not? Militia Captain, madness. Do you have a Google Doc of all your decks? Nope, I don't have that right now, guys. I used to do that back in the day, but keeping it all in track and in line with what people wanted me to do, or hoped I would continuously update, turned out to be more work than I wanted to put in, just being honest. So I think I want to go this way. I think this gets the most done, and I think we're going to hold off Deep Fiendish, but holding up Shock is very similar. The best enchantment, Thopter Arrest, arguably. Sigil deck needs all the Abzan Vessels. Ooh, saucy. You guys get in over the top. Go ahead, Blessed Ally them. And fire it up, takes some damage, and we pass the turn. Their 2 mana did nothing for their turn. That's sad. That's sad. I hate that feeling. But there's the land they need. There it is. And here comes an Always Watching. So I'm going to take this opportunity to shock this card before it gets out of range. The lifelink could be a long-term problem, taking away our ability to race. Not to mention his Lonely Lieutenant now is in a ton of trouble. Bohemian, want to 1v1 soon so I can show it off? Yeah, we can do that. We can do that after this game. Alright, I think we'll just put the pedal to the metal here. Attack you with all that. How you doing? See, I have an Anthem effect too. Called Chief of the Foundry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15 damage if he doesn't block. $15 damage if he don't block it. Bohemian, if you have a preference of what you play against, either super serious or super casual, or like, you know, some people like to play against the serious decks like this and Vehicles because they want to know if their deck is good, and some people are like, just play something cool, and I'll be like, okay, I'll go find something that I call a little more fun. So tell me, you are very, very welcome to tell me what you want me to play. I may just as well hold this back. It doesn't matter. How am I finding Deep Fiend in Thopters? I think it's amazing. I think that playing Deep Fiend for 2 blue off the Thopter Maverick thing is awesome. It's very rare that I cast Deep Fiend and lose. And it can pull you out games that looked really hard. Like earlier today, I was playing from behind. I got turn 3 Thalia'd on the draw. And that, of course, is really hard for Thopters if you can't shock their Thalia. And I didn't draw one. So, I didn't draw a shock. So everything was coming into play tapped. I was just behind on board the whole game. but I was getting my stuff on the board. Aether Sphere Harvester kept me alive because that card's amazing. And then after I got a little bit of a board, I Elder Deep Fiended, I tapped all his guys, and I swung for 18 in one punch, so it was great. Make my notes. I don't have an invite yet, or if I do, I missed it. I hate to look because sometimes the stream goes down, but I guess when we're starting a new game... Oh, there it is. There's the invite. A lot more Upkeen stuff. Yeah, thank you, Glint Sleeve Siphoner. My Deep Fiend appreciates you. So what are we going to throw at the Bohemian? We've got some choices. I queued up some decks. Let's do the Nighthawk token deck. I took Nighthawk's token deck and I threw some stuff. I made just a couple changes. Not really that many. It's still mostly Nighthawk's deck. So let's throw this at him. I think I changed like 3 cards. I refuse to play 61. Just breaks my... It would totally... Like, I'd have no self-respect. I'd have no legs to stand on. I'd never hear the end of it. We had a vote for monsters, but I'd call that a pretty intense deck. Maybe we'll play that next. Come on, Bohemian. Let's do it. Alright, this is a hand. We can stockpile on 2 and Ballista for 0 to trigger it. Just because. But I'm not gonna do that. Alright, we'll keep though. I mean, this hand may do things. Our opponent, we know, is going to do like some awesome enchantment tricks, and I'm really curious to see if Nighthawk's deck is ready for that. Wizard Tribal. What's the payoff card for having wizards? It's just that like 5/4 flying monster that nobody plays because it's not good, right? So I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can appease the wizard tribal masses. Avocado knows what's up. So Nighthawk, it turns out, all his decks are tuned to work at exactly 61 cards. When you go down to 60, it doesn't work. Well, you might be right, but I do have a turn 2 Smuggler's Copter. So I don't know how bad that can get. I mean, did you tune your deck to turn 2 Copter, or were you just trying to avoid coptering? Alright, Abzan Colors, no plays yet. Let's see what he's got. Thopter Arrest would be good right here. Nope, Sylvan Advocate it is. Feel like we're very much back in Eldritch Moon, or Shadows over Innistrad block so far. These are the kind of decks everybody played. So we can go with our land for the turn, which we definitely do want to play. Now the question is, do we be mana efficient? Or... do we get out something like, say, Scrounger? Actually, this is a great discard. So, yeah, this is a great discard if I draw the land I'm looking for off the Smuggler's Copter. Sometimes you can just beat them with turn 2 Copter. True story. True story. Let's see how that goes for us in this game. And we'll swing in, and we'll loot. And we hit the land, the exact land we wanted, so Scrounger is out. We'll mute our buddy Bohemian, so he's not listening to our secrets. And now we're lining up Saram's Expertise into stockpile. And here's the attack. I'm going to accept the damage. I'm going to keep this around. It's better as something you can sacrifice to trigger Revolt. Oh, there's a card. We'll just have to kill that. If we can. Actually, we can. Woo, buddy. Aw, Ballista. Alright. Well, I wanted to Saram's Expertise this turn, but doesn't look like I have to do that. So we have options. We can play Ballista for 2, and then remove 1 counter and use Smuggler's Copter to kill Liliana. We can get our stockpile onto the table, and then what we can do is Ballista for 1, triggering the stockpile and getting back a token. So that is kind of good. It replaces itself, which is nice. We can also, then we also have a Ballista in the graveyard to get back a Scrap Heap Scrounger. We can also just save it for the Expertise turn. Because if we don't have stockpile in our hand, we have nothing to play with our Expertise. So I think I like Ballista for 1. Well, we know a bit about his deck because he kind of talked about it, so I do want to be on the board fast as possible. So let's do it this way. And up we go. If we draw planes, we'll discard the vent. That made the choice easy. Oh wait, I didn't attack Lily. I'm a fool. I'm an idiot. All that, and I forgot to attack Lily. Boo. So, does triggering Revolt now do anything? No. Dummy. Dummy, yeah! Pro plays. Ah, buddy. I'll just have to wait and do it next time. Punt! Put the punt on the... Cue up the punt. The good news? Our hand is so stupid good that we can just do it again. Alright. It's fine. And our opponent looks stuck on land, so that's kind of a big negative. Alright. Hello! Let's try not to overthink it this time. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he's just thinking that the Ballista will then turn around and target Lily and not be a net gain, but it does give me more options, so I'm with you. I would have targeted the Ballista with Lily before I get a chance to put a counter on it. And there's a push, which I guess we want. We really do want to play the Shambling Vent, but we want to play the Master too. I can't believe it, but I'm going to discard Expertise. Doesn't look like we're going to set up a great Expertise here. Die. Die. Land. Stockpile. I know what Nighthawk's gonna hate most is I went down to 1 Marionette Master. But the weird thing about having 1 is I still seem to always find it by turn 6 between Smuggler's Copter and Hidden Stockpile. It seems like I have no lack of games without a Master. Alright, well, I can't respond. Kill it. Okay, wife just came down, slammed the door. I guess she's gonna go take a nap and probably be salty with me. Again, I would rather trigger Stockpile and get another token, so I'm gonna take the damage. And let's see. Weather Enthusiast is good, lots of options, lots of options. Opponent, unfortunately, bit mana screwed. You go away. Let's check the top card of our deck before we use the Smuggler's Copter. Yeah, that's good. Oh man, feel dirty. So, I don't know that I need to kill that Herald though, but I do have a chance to get the Conviction right now, so that's what we'll do. And for the rest of our mana, we'll bring out the Scrounger. And we'll use that to crew the Thopter to get in the most damage that we can. Right, just hit the gold cap for the day. Congratulations. Yeah, I love that feeling. He says he wasn't even grinding, just got lost in playing Magic, and yep, I've been there. I love it. What went to our graveyard? How did we trigger Revolt? Oh yeah, we sacrificed the Enthusiast. That's right. Complicated. I like that the turns are a bit complicated. That usually means there's powerful options somewhere in the build. Feel bad for our opponent though. Obviously, he has not drawn land. He did have turn 3 Lily. And turn 2 Advocate into turn 3 Lily used to be just a death sentence. There was so little you could do. Are you joking? Another one? Oh my god. Okay. Let's check our top card. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, we don't want to do that. We want to hit him with the vent because that's lethal. And we'll get this one over with. 3 fatal pushes. Seems good against somebody who's mana screwed and can only cast 2 cost creatures. Pretty nuts. Marionette Master just got to hang out. Bohemian wants you all to know. Bohemian wants everyone to know that he actually he runs 25 lands. So, mind showing off your Gruul monsters when you get a chance. If he invites me to another game, we'll do that. And there we go. You'd have lost if he wasn't sitting in your hand. Oh, Nighthawk. Those are some gems you like to drop, my friend. Some real gems. This next hour, sponsored by Tic Tacs. A company that needs no advertising. Everybody knows what they are, what they do, and what it's for. Shuffle up, deal 'em. This hand is great. We've got turn 3 Wanderer on the play for 5 out of our 2-color deck. So and we've got Battleland versus Battleland. What could the opponent do about that? I guess declare in stone? I wouldn't even be mad. I have an apple. Does that beat Tic Tacs? Wow, right? You are competitive. Trying to one-up my snack selections. Yes, our opponent is on the 5-card mulligan, which is not great. We'd prefer, especially in games with our friends, to get things closer to real games in, but we'll see. Baral is carrying me. Now, help me out, Bounce. I think I said on the podcast that we are underrating the first ability. Like, you don't even have to counter and loot at all for that card to be great. That's my opinion on it. But would you agree with me on that point? Now that you've played the card a little bit, did we undersell its abilities? Okay, we got to worry about a sweeper. So, do I just dump my hand? So this is a tough spot when you play this kind of deck, because on one hand we worry about a sweeper. On the other hand, we worry about what if he just has a way to kill a Woodland Wanderer, and then our hand didn't do much. So I think I'm going to deploy the Sylvan Advocate duo. Even if he has Declaration in Stone, I would take the 2 cards. Yeah, CGB, you were right. Arg, I was wrong. Happy. See, I'm not happy. I don't think you were wrong. You guys all said it was a good card. I was just I think I was more excited about it than anybody because I thought the ability to reduce spells was going to be nuts. All right, our opponent got the stockpile out. Let's see if they can survive out the turn. This is exactly what you want to draw when you're ahead with creatures on the board, although just about anything's good. And he's down to exactly 2. That's something. So that's red-green monsters. Turn 5 kill. And ta-da! And green monsters versus Abzan Sigil. And we will call that a win. Too fast. But let's do one more. Maybe we can get one more, and I'll play like the Esper deck. And maybe his deck will get a chance to do its more broken stuff since the Esper deck doesn't have counter spells. It'll be like my big expertise game plan against his big enchantment game plan. Yeah, man, BBB or OC616, as he has a Twitch identity crisis. He doesn't usually like green cards. I'm pretty shocked. Pretty shocked. Bohemian says, what are lands? Yo, dude, if you want to do one more, I'll play a different deck. I feel kind of bad. You kind of got run over. You didn't get to do your thing yet. So you can invite me. We can go one more round if you want. If not, it's okay. I'll go find some seals. Anyone already reach rank 40? Well, Triple H, whose name is awesome. Well, King of Kings, I will tell you. Yes, you are looking at him. I am the Duels King of King. I am already a rank 40 Aether Revolt Mage. So there you have it. Alright. Yeah, okay. Yeah, come on back, Bohemian. Let's get you another hand. One with lands. Hopefully you don't have to mulligan so hard. Yeah, you get to be an Aetherborn Rogue when you get to rank 40. It's much better than being a Dwarf. Above is rank 30 on Steam. That's pretty impressive. Can't find matches, though. That sucks. Wish there was crossplay. Yeah, Pipe, come get some. It would be fun to play some of you guys who I never get to play. Legend just put up a 4-color Planeswalker video. How broken will it be? We'll find out, but what really matters in duels isn't actually how good the deck is, oddly. What matters is how popular it is and how much people like it. So people will probably copy that deck and start using it right away. In fact, we'll go build it after this game. We're going to build it right here. So our options are proper matchmaking that takes forever or rapid fire seal clubbing. Well, I'll take the seals. I have no choice. Speaking of no lands, I guess we gotta keep that. Bohemian and I can't seem to get a game. It's KVD, probably not. I think you mean LVD. Or do you mean Kreider? the legend, I don't know. Who coined seal clubbing? That would be Goblin Rabblemaster. He pointed out in a post that my clubbing, my beating up 1 ranks on Xbox was like clubbing baby seals, and it therefore meant my results really didn't mean much. I hate the people who vote in Legends videos. They always choose the wrong choice. Yeah, they're a bunch of net... My opinion on that is that they're probably net deckers just looking for a way to, like, get their gold and get back to rank 40 as quickly as possible. Just like in the real Magic community, there are people that go to certain websites and only do it to net deck. They don't actually even read the articles. They probably pay money to read just to copy the list so they have something on F&M night. Alright, let's see what happens. Our opponent's gonna find some conviction with his Sylvan Advocate here. We did draw a land, so things aren't hopeless yet, but give it a minute, it'll happen. The shots are not fired at SCG, just at a certain amount of SCG readers. And not by any means all of them. I don't know what the percentages would even be. But I know that a lot of people do good stuff for SCG, and a lot of people do read the articles, and a lot of intelligent people enjoy it. So it's not really shots fired at SCG, but if you only paid for premium so that you could steal the deck list off the article, I think you're doing a disservice to the entire universe. No double black. That just feels like a kick in the balls. Alright, let's wait and see if our opponent goes for Sigil. Gonna need another land off the top to fire up. And it's Angel of Invention. Wee-haw! Man, that makes Yenny's expertise look really good. Am I supposed to take out the stockpile then? I just need to buy time, so I will take out the Sylvan Advocate before it gets out of control. I really hate using these unmakings on creatures, especially when I have a card like Expertise in my hand. It's very, very bad. Like, what's happening here is no bueno. Especially when I know he's going to play like a Sigil of the Empty Throne and destroy me with it. Yep, here comes that card. Very tempting to fatally push it, but we definitely have to kill the angel here. Let's think. We go down to 8, and we take 6. And then... So we go to 2, we play Yenny's Expertise if we draw Black Source. And our opponent kills us with Hissing Quagmire. So that's no good. Now if we push the Quagmire, what do we go to? 1? That won't do. But we'll be alive. It just makes unmaking no good. So, I guess we gotta do this. And top deck the Black Source. Or, any untapped source Baral's Expertise. We can get rid of a bunch of the tokens and play Kalitas. Or we can go Baral's Expertise into Yenny's Expertise. I played the black-green counters deck, I think, 2 or 3 times, and it wasn't a good one. Unlucky, it's one of those main games as Esper. Well, we kept a 2-land hand and we didn't draw the right lands. That can happen to any deck. That can happen to any control deck ever in the history of decks. Happens every day to hundreds of control decks around the world. Let's try it again, see if we can get a better showing. We should play the Snake Counters deck at some point today, too. I think I'm getting closer to the right track. You can do the all-in version. You can do the elf version. I think those both have consistency issues where if you don't draw the snake, you're just playing like an underpowered aggro deck. But you can also play a version that's just like a lot of good cards that involve energy or counters, and you happen to have the snake. And I think that's where I want to be. It's the one that feels the most consistent. Yeah, that's a lot better. Is there an Exodia deck? What's that? What's Exodia? I don't even know what that card might be. We'll play this and get ready. An Abzan version of the snake deck. Man, I really did hate the mana though, because it required a lot of double white and double green. So I was splashing black just for the snake is where we ended up. It was not great in my opinion. It was scary, not great. Maybe you play that version just as green-white so you can curve out. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh version in reference to assemble a combo that wins the game. I guess there are, but they're not anything to get like that geeked about, I suppose. Let's see if our opponent wants to put a conviction on this hand weir. Oh, I should mute him again. Hey, he might be stream sniping anyway, so there's probably no point in muting. He can mute me if he wanted to play this straight up, but he has full access to my whole hand and everything I do if he wants it. Alright, we'll definitely get our push on. And we want double black for Lily, I suppose. Oh, yeah, we'll do it that way. The black mana is coming fast and furiously this time. Okay, that can come in untapped, so that's a great draw right here. The legend deck runs 6 sweepers, huh? Well, we'll just tease that, and we'll queue that up in a minute. Sweepers are sweepers. People like sweepers. Yu-Gi-Oh talk in my channel. I never would have imagined, but that's cool. Any talk in my channel is welcome until you piss me off somehow. Uh-oh, it's From Beyond. That's not a terrible card. And we don't have like a straight up answer right now. Didn't draw double Anguish Unmaking, so we're just gonna have to try to beat it into the ground. It will keep Lily busy. But let's get the beats on. We're gonna no expertise cards this game. We're just going for straight up Planeswalker beats. Who needs a 4th color? We got 3 colors. No cards with that name were found. Oh, guess Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't belong. You are curving out like crazy. Yeah, we did a turn 2 Fatal Push, and even with the Revolt trigger, that was probably unnecessary. And now we've got our Planeswalkers. Will it be enough? It's time to put this card to work, right? Let's see if this card is going to do the job, as it's going to boost all his creatures by the amount of counters on it. It's going to be a good test. A good test to see how impressive that card can be. Hey guys, I think Planeswalkers might be pretty good. Vehicles do usually beat them up pretty hard. So, but you gotta have the right vehicles, you gotta have the right build, you gotta have the right deck. That's always what we're working on. Any deck can be pretty good against a field, and then there are decks come along that are just better. We'll get that out in case of Athalia. We'll resolve like this, because I can't think of a black spell I can draw that I want to play there. I mean, Fatal Push maybe, but no, I'm a lot more... but what would I do with double blue? Nothing, I guess, so we'll tap like that. We want to find answers to these permanents to his enchantments, because he's obviously got that game going right now. The Fatal Push can help us push through damage. No pun intended. I guess we'll keep it. Ooh! Hello, Thing in the Ice. I have just one of these in my deck. I have a one of Thing in the Ice. So, we'll see if it earns its keep here. Could be very good if he builds his board out with Call of Unity and From Beyond. Bruna. Getting back a militia captain, okay. That's a big Bruna. That's a big ass Bruna. Bulking up. So his deck is running. He's got it going. You guys can see here some of the potential. So how do we want to handle it? Can you handle this? Can you handle this? Can you handle this? Well, pushing on the captain is like no problem. There's a good chance we run out of spells and don't get to flip our thing, even though we want badly to. We have Alliance to line up there, so can't complain about that. I guess we try to push damage through with Gideon. I guess. He'll probably block it, but he might be scared too. Or maybe it's just better to make the 2/2, but I feel like those are on borrowed time because of Thing in the Ice. So yeah, we'll just push some damage through. Just a little. But he might be scared to block the Gideon. Or he might want to take out the token for some reason. You never know. Again, it's kind of hard to bluff or do anything like that when he might know exactly what we're doing since he's a member of our stream. Just depends on how straight up he's playing it. But if he can hear me, he doesn't have to take 5. Okay, he decides to block the token. Perfectly fine with that since the token's likely on borrowed time because of Thing in the Ice. He's only got 1 card in hand, though. It's pretty low on gas. He can go get an Eldrazi with that From Beyond, but I don't know what he plays. Oblivion Sower. He's short of Ulamog mana. Gideon being on 6 means it's a little harder for him to kill after the Liliana trigger, but we got a plan anyway. Let's see what he does. If he skips his attack step, it's pretty obvious. Okay, attacks Lily. Now we get to do this. What was the set right before Origins? Dragons of Tarkir, which of course we didn't get for Magic Duels. Yeah, Nighthawk, you on it. You got it. And he gets to trigger his call, so he has a 4/4 token. That's a thing. That's not a no thing. Well, that's a draw. Soren, you can plus. The drain wouldn't be any good. The attack wouldn't be any good. He'd just chump, probably. Nothing to get back. I don't know. Like, getting rid of the Call of Unity just doesn't do much here. I think he's going to chump anyway, so we're just going to send in the Gideon. And see if we can hang on to the Anguish Unmaking. And further develop Planeswalker Hell for our opponent. Liliana on 7 is something to be dealt with. Soren joining the fray. See if we can plus into some expensive cards. Hey! Man, these come in pairs. That's 2 games in a row we've drawn both of them. Could you get rid of the call and then Lily +1 on the Scion? Yes, I could have. I could have done it that way. I was concerned about just losing my Anguish Unmaking if he has a more important permanent to play. But maybe that was the wrong read. Maybe it would have been just better to get the damage in. I guess he would have been dead. So, there's that. But there was some uncertainty, and... Alright, so we can just unmake an attack and see if that does the job. Although I bet you guys want the Sorin flip. Let's see if we can kill him with a Sorin flip. Okay, pretty much a concession. He knows about the unmaking, so... Nope, can't kill him. Got him to 1. Alright. What is the name of that card? What is this thing? Call for Unity. So, Call for Unity from Beyond, pretty much going off, but still couldn't maintain the board presence. Alright. Okay, stream's going to take a pause. Try not to go anywhere, and I will be back in a few. Okay, okay. If you refresh the page and scroll down, you should be able to see a Legends deck list, a link to his video and such, and that's what we're going to play next. So, what we got here? Looks like we've had plenty of chat while I've been away. Enchantment deck is not really convincing. Yeah, but you played it on stream against me. Gotta give props. You put it in front of all of you to see. Call wasn't looking too terrible there. Still bad, but not as bad as I thought. Yes. The Connect stops snooping. I guess the Connect does weird stuff when I'm not looking. Ew. If CGB ever disappears one day, we know it's the Connect that's murdered him. God, you're gonna give me nightmares. By the way, keep making content. Love your YouTubes. You're too modest about your mad skills. I'm gonna talk some trash and say he's just the right amount of modest about his mad skills. Let's see. I was about to test Esper. You going back to ranked? I'm gonna play the Legend deck. Do you want to help me test the Legend deck, Bohemian? Do you want to challenge the great and powerful Legend of Oz? I'm gonna eat some chips, and if you want to invite me, I'm just gonna mute it while I snack, as it's very loud. You can hear it, I'm sure. Oh wait, never mind, Bohemian. I've got to actually build the darn deck. I'm an idiot. I don't have it built yet. Alright, card by card. I'm still not exactly good at this. We want Oath of Nissa. He wants Oath of... See? The heck. There we go. Oath of Gideon? An Oath of Chandra? An Oath of Liliana. So no, the Oath of Ajani. That was something I was right away like, hey, I want to play Oath of Ajani. But I guess Legend's not down with that particular oath. I especially thought with Oath of Gideon in there, he must have put in Oath of Ajani, but I'm wrong. It is not on the list. Why am I so bad? Why am I the worst at these filters, man? There we go. He wants to fatally push things. Can't blame him there. Let's see, we want artifacts. Oops. I'm so bad at this filtering, as you can see, I'm just floundering around like a beached whale. Alright. He has renegade maps as his mana fix. A whopping 2 of them is what he's gone with. Room for those. And a Heart of Kirin. And let's just go Planeswalkers, I guess. You think they'll ever make a colorless Planeswalker? They made Karn and they made Ugin, so yes, they will. That's not even in chat, I just said that to myself for no good reason. Johnny. Soren. Nahiri. Vital Nissa. Yep. Baby Nissa. Another good reason for... Well, it seems like for Oath of Ajani, but... Flip Nissa? Yep. Chandra. How about Chandra Torch? Yep, Chandra Torch. And Lily, I'm sure. Yeah. It's a little bit predictable, isn't it? Gideon. Arlen. Mama. Let's go get Planar Burst. Oh wait, let's leave the sorcery thing on. And Radiant Flizames. And it's like hard work getting to all this. Yeah, Henny's expertise. 5 mana is very heavy. I'm in agreement there. And Cultivator's Caravizan. And what am I missing? Woodland Wanderer. So he's also bringing Woodland Wanderer back. That's, yeah, 6 sweepers. His spot removal is the 3 fatal pushes. He's also got Oath of Chandra. So we'll see. We'll see how that stacks up. It definitely seems like vehicles are going to have a good time, though. The Henny's expertise, I guess you can get your oaths that are off curve off it, and that's pretty good. Mana base, 2s of thems, and 2s of those, and 2s of this, and I think it's 2 all the way across. Yep. And it doesn't look like we have any man lands anymore, and we've cut the Sylvan Advocate, so that makes sense. If you're not going to use the man lands, the Sylvan Advocate is just a 2/3 for 2 most of the time. Especially when it's going to get eaten by your own sweepers. So that's a little update. He's going with, nope, that's wrong. Woodland Cemetery and Sun Petal. And Dragon Skull. Okay, interesting. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's customize this. Curve doesn't look very curvy, but that's not that's it can be misleading anyway, so it's fine. I'm sure it's okay. Who cares? It doesn't matter where Emrakul is. She's still Emrakul. And alright. Okay, deck is ready. Bohemian, you want some? Yeah, Emrakul's gonna drive this flying umbrella. Just a quick note on the lore. Bounce says Emrakul gets banned before Gideon. Eldrazi Titan's most OP in lore confirmed. They are pretty OP, but in the lore, a card that we have not had yet is the Chain Veil, which Liliana uses its power to fight Emrakul. So once we get the artifact of the Chain Veil, the The pressure is pretty high. It's got to be better than Jitte and get banned after one tournament. It has to be better than Smuggler's Copter. Doesn't that add a weird kind of thing with the lore in the card game? If something's a big part of the lore, it almost has to be a good Magic card. That's what people speculate got Emrakul in trouble, that they had to make Emrakul OP. That said, I don't think the Copter was a huge part of the lore. It was just a reasonable part of the lore, you know, they could have done with or without it. Can't keep that. Can't keep that. We'll try. Mirari. I like Mirari. I remember Mirari. Let's see if we can just get absolutely mana screwed. You notice this never happens to Legend. I kind of wonder if he just cuts those games out. I guess I would if I had a YouTube channel. I just wouldn't show a game where I never drew a third land, had terrible colors. What's the point? You don't really learn anything other than Magic happens to everyone. Oh, yay. It's on. And he's running like Esper control. I guess I'm just supposed to put the oath out there now that I know that, and maybe I can fuck it. Well, that was pointless. Protection from Eldrazi. Well, I think the issue with that is it doesn't have like just protection from the Eldrazi. Like, she wasn't immune or anything. It just gives a ridiculous amount of raw power. So in Magic, that's mana. So in theory, it should make just a ton of mana. Or paying life to draw cards, like Necropotence. GG dies to turn 3 Liliana. While having no lands whatsoever. Yep. You notice his deck doesn't have Anguish Unmaking, so he doesn't have a way to reach out and kill a Planeswalker. He's very much relying on things like Smuggler's Copter. I'm going to keep this, because if we draw any land that's untapped, we have a turn 3 Caravan. And that can go a long way, so... But this looks almost scarily, eerily like the last hand that went nowhere. Yeah, Jesus Christ. It's like... The randomizer is just on a mission. I don't know how many times I've needed to draw land today. The flood hasn't been real, but just the ridiculous no land draws have. Yay, got there. And now everything's perfect in life. Yay. That's awesome. That's kind of amazing. Good job. Just 2 games in a row. Turn 3 Liliana on the play. You think this guy could never lose. There we go. Now we'll see if we can get a walker out. If our opponent holds up counter magic, though, that's a big problem. Yay, I'll tick up Liliana. Fun. I thought you was going to concede again when you checked if Mike was muted. Ha! Yeah. Well, he never has to tap any mana ever. Drawing out his counterspell probably won't work, and at least we might disrupt his Glimmer. Do we want to use our map yet? I don't think so. So, if he counters this, at least our next walker might resolve. You want me a +1 to Lily? Or do you want me to... I guess Heart of Kirin is very unlikely to hit. Very unlikely to hit. So unlikely I don't think it's worth it. There is a chance that our opponent has Anguish Unmaking too, and if we do that, do we want to just take both of his turns? We could also plus the mana and play the Oath of Gideon, but Lily can pick at it, so that's not very good. Yeah, good, we didn't want that Evolving Wilds anyway. That was pretty tough. I mean, there is a case for like attacking with the Heart of Kirin. He has to remove it. Then if he has Anguish Unmaking, he untaps and removes Chandra with that. And then our next spell resolves, but we don't have a spell that's good to resolve. So it's kind of a complicated situation. Let's see what we draw. A useless card. Alright. Well, we want to use our map. I think we want white mana. It turns on double white cards in our deck. And we want to do that first in case we flip over such a card when we plus Chandra. Okay. I think we can go ahead and cast this. Just plussing Liliana down is not a good long-term plan, as it'll take a long time to get her off the board. And now we can get a board presence at least by making a wolf and getting ready to throw a lightning bolt. I still agree that the Heart of Kirin gets to stay home, but our opponent, it's not doing nothing. Our opponent has to leave mana up or else Heart of Kirin will kill Liliana. What's in his hand? Well, it's not a Glimmer, it's not an Anguish Unmaking. I am guessing at least one and maybe two Blessed Alliance. Sweepers are also a good bet, like Languish, Yahenni's Expertise are a pretty good bet, as they haven't had a chance to be effective yet. So let's put him on Blessed Alliance, let's put him on 2 Sweepers, and then I guess one more land perhaps and a spot removal spell. Something to that effect. Alright, well... If we attack, and he has Blessed Alliance, now he'll have to like grasp the wolf token and he'll have to get rid of, and then he'll have to play Blessed Alliance. Is that good? I don't think so. Probably just better to bolt the Lily to death. But first, let's see if we flip over an awesome card. That happens all the time, right? I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, my face cam sound gets out of sync, and I'm sorry. Just another of the Twitch problems I live with. Alright, you go away. And I think we'll Oath of Gideon. Although, do we want to do that with a sweeper? I guess we do. Chandra on 7, we just kind of want to overload him with things to figure out to get to Chandra. No. Because if we don't, yeah, actually it's totally fine. We want to have spells to cast when we do get our Chandra emblem. Yep, bounces on it. Yep, Haruto, you're on it too. So, my chat's smart. They're all over the right plays. All over it. And our opponent hasn't cast a spell. This is so bizarre. Okay. How you doing? Oath of... I guess if he has a counter spell, he's not going to counter that, so... Oath of Gideon. Take 5. Yeah, I agree. It's very likely it's a bunch of spot removal. So, plus over here. Give that haste. And... we'll crew right there. We'll also crew... No, we don't want to do that because... Well, I guess we can sack the 3/3 token. Make him at least kill all this stuff. ZZ's leaning towards a counter-oriented control deck. I don't blame you. So we had Grasp of Darkness. And no Blessed Alliance, or at least not one he wanted to play in that spot. I think counter-oriented control is going to be very slow. If you think about it, this deck is well positioned. Tough to kill token spammers, dodges spot removal outside of Heart, and Wanderers. I don't know. Might be right. Maybe it is. You guys find this deck well positioned? There's the counter spell that he didn't have earlier when we played our Planeswalkers. That's pretty much all it was, is like, that was a pretty uninteractive game. He had turn 3 Planeswalker and did nothing for, I think, 7 turns, and we had turn 4 Planeswalker that he didn't counter. Another very fun interactive battle. We'll see if he wants the rubber match. We're 1-1, so maybe he wants game 3. And he does. It's hard not to have fun playing with a bunch of Planeswalkers out of 4 different colors and 8 Oaths to get extra value off already super valued cards. I think that's why it endures. You still run up against it all the time. On iOS you run up against it all the time. Rank 40 Xbox, it's pretty darn common. And now it's hard to get a rank 40 game, but when I do, a good amount of the time, it is Planeswalkers. Alright, let's look at our hand. Let's take a look at our opener, which has 3 of our 4 colors, 4 lands, and 3 spells. 1 is an enchantment, 1 is removal, 1 is a creature. I think we will keep, and there we go. I don't think it's very good against Esper, though, to be fair. Don't think I'm going to be pushing anything anytime soon, so I think I can just go find my white source. Gonna need to draw walkers. Like, Planeswalkers will have to come off the top of the deck. And a good amount of them. I haven't really seen how his deck wins. We haven't, other than, like, Planeswalkers going ultimate. If that's all he has, then so be it. Hey, look at that. Guess I shouldn't have cracked that Evolving Wilds. I thought it was pretty clear what I wanted to get, but turns out I'm wrong. Uh-oh, he's missing land drops. That's not cool. Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to get turn 3 Lilied again. Maybe it'll have to be turn 4. Since he doesn't... I haven't seen any creatures. I'm just going to have this on the battlefield so I can have zombies. Oh, hi there, LVD. I didn't recognize you at first. I guess we don't know what he looks like. He could look just like this. Although his accent would need some explaining. Okay. Here we go. What do you think? Wanderer? Which is likely to just get shot down, or an Arling Cord. I think Arling Cord, because then we can Hasty Wanderer if he taps out. And we'll make the... Or do we just go up? Do we just go up so that we can be ready with the Woodland Wanderer next turn? It's a good question. I don't know. I think it's really unlikely that we're just going to be able to hit him with the Wanderer, so I'm going to make the Wolf. I want the value. And he's passing turn, okay. I will not have double black again. Let's plus and make my tokens awesome, rather than worry about haste right now. See what he's got for him. And then I think I'll just do nothing. I could play the Wanderer, but the planar outburst that would follow it would be a very sad experience. So let's just assume he plays sweepers. That makes a lot of sense, given his deck. And he has... okay, I did not expect that. Select for inspection. How valuable is a scry? We could fatally push our own thing, but... since he plays Shambling Vent, I guess we'll hang on. Hey, where'd my token go? It was in my hand. It was right here in my hand. Good news, Steam guys. Just got this from Wizards. Is it an update? It's going to be some kind of a link. Some kind of a link coming from Nighthawk using chat to tell you all. The face cam is a massive improvement for your Twitch. Do you agree? Do you really believe that? Because I'm not sure. Like, I'm unconvinced. I don't know. I don't know if people actually want to see my face. If you actually believe that, that's cool. Thank you for telling me. If you're being sarcastic, you do need to let me know. I don't want to take it the wrong way. So we can Chandra. He'll probably counter it. Oh, you're loving the face cam. Okay. This is actually really tricky. If he counters it, I can't punish him very much. I can just get him for 3. No, I think I just want to sit back. So I will plus. The ultimate would be pretty tight. I haven't done an Arlen ultimate, but it is a kind of a control deck nightmare. Alright. And I'm going to go for the Wanderer. Don't want to do nothing on my turn. If he counters it, good. Ooh, I want to know what this is. I want to know what Nighthawk's news is. We got breaking news here on the channel. Nighthawk is linked. Hey there, everyone. Hey, there's the unmaking. Posting here to let everyone know that we've identified potential fixes for the issues related to unbridled growth in a deck exploiting that allows players to break the duel's deck building limit. Whoa. Deck building limit. We're working on them now so you can release a patch to the Aether Revolt release. We don't have an exact timeline. Alright, they're trying to fix something. That's different, right? Have they ever done that with Steam? I don't know. And we've got Gisela, so he does run creatures. I was becoming unsure. That's oh my god. This is about to get ugly. This is about to get really ugly if he doesn't have Dispel. He better have Dispel if he wants to pull this game off. Revolt triggered. And down that goes. And there's 8 damage. Ba-bam. Oh, that was just a little fatal push. That's all we needed. A little revolting fatal push. Alright, I'm going to take this back to the ladder now. Thank Bohemian for the games. I'm gonna send him a message. Alright, send him a nice message and thank him for putting his deck out there and taking on Legends Super Friends deck and my other silly things. Deck request ETB abuse. So you mean like a blink deck? People like blink decks. I think that was like the most viewed duels video on YouTube was the LVD blink deck. With free spells and rarity restrictions. With free spells and breaking the formats, rarity restriction kind of busts it? 8 clue. Oh, I don't know if we're going to play more 8 clue, but thank you for liking that deck. I built a fog deck around mechanized production, but I think that it is very bad. It's been my experience so far. We got more people who want me to blink. Maybe we will, but I want to get some games in with this. This is weird. I'm not used to this waiting for players to join the match taking so long. But I guess we have a timer on it, so we don't have to panic. They're showing us a timer, so we'll know when things are taking too long or when it's frozen. We'll just set our controller down and be calm and try not to panic while we wait and wait for players to join the match. Trust me, he's going to be replaced by the AI. I don't doubt it. Aha! There we go. Ruru Garuru has been replaced by the AI. And now we absolutely have to play this out. But he is a 1 rank with his priorities in order. He has sleeves. And I don't think we can mulligan this. We just kind of have to keep a hand with like all the right mana sources we need and 4 3-drops. So here we go. And starts off on a brown land, the Inventor's Fair. So some kind of an artifact deck, perhaps. I guess this should be a swamp. So I have double black as soon as I need it after playing a caravan. There we go. If you discount his starting hand, yeah, you can't do that. That doesn't make the sense. Does not run a 60-card deck, but it's looking Thopter-esque, or maybe it's the blue-black, I don't know. Push is ready. Caravan coming down. Next turn we can do second Caravan, Forest, and Oath of Gideon. Our opponent misses the land drop. I wonder if the AI even got a chance to mulligan, based on how the player replacement occurred. But we've got a pretty lackluster hand. It's not going to do much for quite some time. But it's going to keep the opponent from doing much. So all we got to do is buy time and draw planeswalkers. It feels silly to not be able to crew these with 2 creatures on the board, but that's what you get for playing tokens. If we had Oath of Ajani, though. Uh-oh. Clutch Occurrence on a token. Son of a biscuit. Not what we're really looking for. Get in there. This might be what I refer to as a T-Rex slap fight. If Kreider's out there, he gave me the term. Where, like, my deck is flooded and not doing anything, and his deck isn't drawing lands and not doing anything. Well, I guess now it'll depend on whether or not he can answer this Woodland Wanderer. I guess it's fine, it's fine. Can only crew 1 anyway. Nighthawk, what's the clock now? Nighthawk is giving us clock updates. He says 10 turn clock, then the token dies 20 turn clock, and now, whee! Why no manlands? You'll have to ask Legend. Click on the link and go ask him. He responds to his comments sometimes. I think most of the time. My luck on drawing land drops every time I play a game after watching a Nighthawk video. I'm sensing a pattern. What? Nighthawk curses you? Alright. The curse of the hawk. It's like curse of the suntail hawk is usually what we worry about here. It's a gift, not a curse. Yeah, that's just, well, that's just, you know, you're now one of us. Welcome to Magic. Welcome to Magic. Anybody can win at any time. Okay, he's at 7, so I think we just top decked a way to kill him. Not the most exciting of games, but we do what we can with what we're given. Had no choice but to play it out. The AI replaced my opponent before we did anything. Select for inspection, staying alive. Our opponent appears to be running like bounce and expensive artifact black spells. Never saw their third land. So it happens to your opponents too, everybody. I want to try to at least get a good game in with this deck so I have a better sense of what it does. The games against Bohemian, with absolutely no offense intended to him, were just very kind of paint by numbers, like, does my Planeswalker resolve? Great! Victory! Which is one of the problems with Esper decks. Deck request Eldrazi Displacer and Flame Shadow Conjuring Abuse. And get in line, GK. Everybody loves blink decks. Everybody. Playing those first 2 games against you after winning 5 games decreased my lifespan by 10 years. Don't be hard on yourself. So we've got all the mana sources and we've got removal. I guess we keep it, assuming that our opponent's playing creatures, we're okay. But if they're not, once again, we're just going to be sitting there hoping we draw something. I mean, that's something, but should I keep it around? It can trigger Revolt, and maybe I don't really know what I want yet, right? So I could draw Gideon and I'd want white mana, or I could draw Chandra and I'd want red mana, so the Evolving Wild should just kind of hang out. Yeah, okay. That's the plan. Let's mute in case he's listening to us. 1 rank, yep. He drew both his Dragon Skull Summits. If he's a black-red deck, his mana will be perfect. Flames in the house. Still don't have any clarity on whether I want white mana or red mana. So we'll just get these lands onto the battlefield. And more removal. Removal that deck. Alright, there's a creature. That will be the first victim. Probably Oath of Chandra, since it will hit it. Makes sense. Jesus. I'm feeling like a control deck. What do you think, Bounce? Is this controlling enough for your standards? Leave up the push. Again, I'm hanging on to the Evolving Wilds. I'm just looking for either a land or a double white or double red spell to give me clarity on which land to fetch, since I kind of goofed that up in a previous game. Okay. Play a Blink deck with Thragtusk and Restoration Angel. Yeah, just take me back to that format, which I was active during that. It was a format. It was It was something. Let's just call it something. Oath. This is flavorful, right? So we've got a total flavor fail here. The Oath of Liliana is killing Liliana. Or, if you want to look at it, like, the Oath of Liliana is killing young Liliana and turning her into a mature, conniving, evil, or Liliana. However you want to look at it. I think every Marionette Master death ever experienced will be Hawk's fault because he's, I think, the only one pushing that card. But all by himself, with his YouTube army, I run into that thing all the time now, thanks to his efforts. I need an image of ceremonious rejection. Your control is not up to standard. That's a pretty funny one. You die. I'm so mean. Why you gotta be so rude? Yeah, the card power level was pretty pushed at the time. So that deck, I played that deck in Naya with like Thragtusk, Restoration Angel, Bonfire of the Damned. These are all cards you can look up, by the way, with Cardbot if you want to. Bonfire of the Damned was in that deck. Blade Splicer was in that deck. In fact, I gotta put one on there. Oops, I did it wrong. That's what I get for trying to hurry. There we go. There is a card that makes memories. That is a card that makes a lot of memories. So we actually win the race, oddly. Like we double our opponent's race time. By just letting his priest give him 2 damage and then attacking him for 2. We'll see it though. He's got a garrison, which could make that a bad thing. But it looks like he's just drawing more lands. Okay, it's Oso with haste. Well, I feel bad now. But we can get rid of it. You got rid of a Gideon and a Renegade map and 2 more lands, so... Oh, he couldn't give his Oso haste. Didn't work that way. Boros Reckoner. I remember that card too. Alright. So if he can kill both our tokens, he gets to punch us with his Oso. But if I can chump it for a turn, maybe I can squeeze more value out of this board state. Which I might honestly need to do, as our draws might be pretty cold. So I'm going to try to squeeze a little more out of this. Yeah, back when cards were just absurd. But of course, in the past, cards are usually absurd. As much as people complain about some of the power level of the cards in the recent sets, it's all in context with what else you have available. Here comes the attacks. Chumper, chumper. And we drew a Planeswalker. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Let's blow up the board before we cast him. I don't know how Cardbot makes its rules. I saw some people, like, it shows up, it works for me, but I know for some people it doesn't respond to them. Someone told me once that it private messaged it to him when the card is too long, but I haven't seen that. It's always shown me the card. But I am glad someone turned me on to Cardbot. You can see on the launch party, people were going pretty nuts with Cardbotting for fun. It is pretty fun. It's like, oh, I remember that card. Here's what it does. Everybody's like, ooh, that card's cool. Uh-oh, Child of Night. Our opponent has crossed the line into Jankland. Wow, they don't even give you Suntail Hawk? Yeah, hater. I guess I want to kill that thing. I don't want to kill it with Ob. This Radiant Flames probably isn't going to be any good this game. Let's leave the black mana up, please. Report to the battlefield, Ob Nix-a-lot. Yay, more land. Yeah, some of y'all having trouble. But playing with MTG Bot. See if MTG Bot will work for us. Good times. Our opponent, in the meantime, I don't know what's going on. They've been sitting on this kind of stuff for a while. They could have spot removal spells that they just didn't want to use on our 1/1s. Maybe some act of treason type things that we have to keep in mind. Although I might have used it right there. I guess we should thin the deck. And give us better odds of drawing something we want to draw. Well, that's a something. But do we want to attack? No, because he's got haste, granting battlements, and we'd love to ultimate Ob and just win. Traitorous Instinct. Okay. There's the steel cards we mentioned. Let's get him into attacks, and I guess we'll fatally push our own. You'll die a soldier's death, zombie. It wasn't your fault. So this is, I mean, honestly, this Planeswalker deck is exactly like the last one and the one before it. If you haven't played it, you probably should. Just to get an idea for what it is, how it works, and the possibilities of Magic that you can play a 4-color deck with a bunch of mythics with different mana costs and make it work. If you've played it a million times like I have, you're probably bored. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit bored. A little bit bored. Especially, like, these... I don't even think I'm going to play this because he's a Traitorous Instincts type. I'm just going to grind him out. Could be a mistake, but I think that would be one way for him to steal the game, is one hasty attack from the battlements and a Traitorously Instinct 8-spot Woodland Wanderer crashing into me. Whereas doing nothing works out perfectly. We just keep draining him with an Ob emblem. Well, I never mean to bore you guys. I always try to find some words to say, but I couldn't help but at least try it out. And usually the only real question in these kind of decks is the mana. Can you make the mana work? And then it's individual card selections for what you expect to play against. It's a really oath-happy deck for me, which, you know, that's a lot of sorcery speed interaction, which I think it needs a little more, but you get Fatal Push for your instant speed. So at least you have something. You can choose a random viewer, so that's like for giveaways, Nighthawk. He's got to have his mod powers ready. And there we go. We drew our opponent to death. Victory! Oh, you can see a random card? That's pretty tight. Yeah, I wanted to see the new Oath in action, but he didn't even put the new Oath in the deck. There's no Oath of Ajani in that build. Ha, broadcaster only command, homie. Sorry. Alright. I think that'll do it for the Planeswalkers. At 2:11, we're going to end our Planeswalker. Some people really want things blunk. Is that a word? Blinked. What would we be blinking? Is there anything even new that we want to blink? People just like blinking, I guess. Flavor. Oh, it reads you flavor text. That's cool. That would have been funny if you had actually banned him there, Nighthawk. I'd have supported your decision. I'm a good boss to work for. I'd have been like, yes, I understand. An accident? It still stands. Ha ha ha. Somebody wants me to blink things. I'll give it a try. I'm a little tired. Maybe I shouldn't keep playing at this spot. I've been playing a lot. Like, a lot. And I'm really tempted to veg out for a while. So I'm scared I'm going to do badly. So whatever happens for the rest of this stream, don't judge me too harshly. I don't know. Blinky, blinky, blinky. What do we want to do for sure if we're blinky, blinky, blinky? Most people don't get past Suntail Hawk, that's true. I mean, do we even have new cards we want to blink? Like, why am I doing this if I don't even have a new card I want to use? It's like I've messed with this deck a million times. It's not like we got new blinky cards, I don't think. But I guess it triggers Revolt, right? So, what are some cool revolting things we can do? And don't say that 2-mana Orzhov enchantment. Wow, somehow you got there, D-Man. Now it's working. Good for you. You know what? On second thought, I really love you guys, but I gotta trust my gut here. When my gut says I need a break, my eyes are starting to kind of twitch on their own. So, I need a break. So, I'm going to take the stream down, and maybe I'll build something tonight, but I'll come back, maybe not tonight. Maybe I'll take the night off and sleep. That sounds like a good idea. But I'll definitely be around tomorrow. I'll be watching the SCG tour, which will be the first game of New Standard, so I'll probably... maybe I'll broadcast while watching that, or maybe I'll turn my mic off and you can see me testing if you want to. Maybe we'll just log in between games and do like commentary on what's going on. Something fun, right? So, yeah, I'm going to take the stream down. If you guys are having a good time playing with those card things, you can do that with or without me around. It's totally cool. But thanks for coming out, all 42 of you. That's really awesome, hanging out with me on a Friday. If you're in the US, you still have time to go play Friday Night Magic and let me know what's busted about Aether Revolt. And, mod only. Nighthawk, you're a good mod. That's why you got the job, man. Alright. I am going to check out. You guys, have a great day. I will see you around, hopefully tomorrow.